Good morning, everybody. We are live. It's been a while since we've had one of these, a daily dose devotional, but I wanted to hop on here. I've got a word that I want to share with you guys. So I'm going to give you guys a second just to hop on here, get everybody online. Hope you're having a good Saturday morning. And I have had this on my heart for a little while and wanted to put something together. And so I started building a little something, and I've been having a lot of content that I believe is for this particular platform. And with us getting into this is our new home that I'm in here right now, getting into our new home, getting ourselves settled has took a little bit of time, but the content just kept coming. And I've got quite a lot backlogged that I will eventually be sharing. But this is something that's real fresh and it made its way to the top of the priority list. And it was talking about how to fight a lukewarm spirit. So I put together 10 things that I believe are ways to combat a lukewarm spirit. I don't know if you've ever been in a situation where you're lukewarm, but Jesus, he's he speaks that I would rather you be hot or cold. I would rather you be hot or cold because I'll spit you out, I'll vomit you out of my mouth if you're lukewarm. So it's a very important thing. It's a rejection. Jesus literally was saying, I reject a lukewarm spirit. Nothing gets under my skin more. Nothing makes me want to separate from a person more than that. I would rather you be hot. I'd rather you be cold. But a lukewarm spirit gets under my skin. I can't deal with it. I don't want nothing. I reject it. So it's something that really makes me want to pay attention to not be caught in that mix. So today I'm going to give you 10 things that help you combat a lukewarm spirit. Let's jump right into it, okay? You need to recognize lukewarm as a spiritual issue and not a personality type. So you can't just say, well, it's my personality. Lukewarm isn't being tired, being busy, or having a lot going on. So you can't blame it on the fact that you got a lot going on. Well, we've been in the middle of a move. This is just some things that I could say. Oh, hey, I've got, 8 people living in my home. Oh, I run a business. Oh, I pastor a church. Oh, I've just got a lot going on right now. Lukewarm is not about your personality, which personality meaning how you're responding to the things around you. Okay, so it's not about being tired. Lukewarm has nothing to do with you being busy, being tired, having a lot going on. Lukewarm is a spiritual temperature that God himself is measuring. He's the one, he says, that he's the one who knows if you're lukewarm or not. You may be able to see it, but make no mistake that lukewarm is a measurement that God uses. That's how he looks and measures where we are. So we may be able to agree with God, but make no mistake, he sees it first. And this is more for his measurement of us than us. So we find that this is a way that God tests and checks us. Jesus didn't say, I wish you were nicer. He didn't say, I wish you were in a chipper mood. He didn't say any of that. He said, I wish that you were hot or cold. He said, I wish that you were hot or cold. That's what I wish. It's not about you being nice. It's not about you looking like you're excited to be there. He said, I wish that you were cold or hot, because until you admit the temperature, you'll never change the thermostat. So it's very, very, very important that you set that up appropriately, because it's important that we're not lukewarm. Recognizing a lukewarm spirit is a very critical part of our development and our worship to the Lord. Number 2, realize lukewarm always begins with forgetfulness. Forgetting. That's where it starts. Where does it start? How did I get here? It's about forgetting. Nobody wakes up and decides, I want to be spiritually dull today. I want to be spiritually distant today. Lukewarm creeps in when gratitude fades. Here we are in the Thanksgiving season, a great time to truly shake ourselves out of this. Lukewarm creeps in when gratitude fades, when our memory gets foggy, and when the goodness of God starts to feel common. The fire returns when your memory returns. You've got to go back You've got to think back. You've got to remember what he saved you from. There are little signs that your spirit is trying to get out of a lukewarm state. You start seeing songs that used to bless your life when you were in a fire hot stage of your walk with the Lord. And here you are, you're not really there. Now you're longing for memories that pop up on your Facebook feed. What is that? That is a opportunity that the Lord is sending to you to say, hey, I don't want you to be lukewarm. You suffer, and I'm not a fan. He sends us things, I believe, to help restart it. So you'll start to see, in my case, I'll see old, Pentecostal songs that I listened to growing up at church camp, and times when I was hot on fire for God in prayer, and moments where I felt the move of the Spirit. Like those things will just start to show up. And I believe that it's the God of creation loving me back to a place where I am meeting his preferences again. He says, I don't want you to be hot or cold. He goes, I want you to be hot or cold. I don't want you to be lukewarm. So it's us, again, connecting to the preferences of God. Let's go to number 3. Rebuild daily habits, not emotional moments. Fire is not sustained just by goosebumps. Fire is sustained by your discipline. You don't drift into holiness, you commit to it. You need to set a prayer time, set a word time, set a worship time. When you create rhythm, God creates fire. You create rhythm, then God responds with fire. But you have to be committed. Not just an emotional thing, oh, Sunday, I'm going to really get in there Sunday. You need to do this every day. Lukewarm is not something that leaves just because you had an emotionally charged, good Sunday experience. This is an intentional decision to set a time to meet, to speak with the Lord that you intentionally put into rhythm. You create rhythm, God creates fire. You've got to break your agreement. Number 4, break your agreement with the spirit of excuses. I believe we get to the point we just absolutely have an excuse for everything, don't we? Lukewarmness always builds a case for itself. I'm tired. I'm overwhelmed right now. I'm stressed. I'm not feeling it today. God never asked if you feel ready. He asks if you're willing. The moment you stop defending lukewarm, lukewarm loses its power. It remains because we continue defending it. It's not about us being overwhelmed or stressed or not feeling it. Are you willing? That's the question I ask today. Are you willing to break this spirit? Are you willing to come out of this lukewarm state? Well, here's one of the things that you can do is surround yourself with people who burn. You can't be on fire surrounded by wet blankets. Lukewarm spreads through closeness and proximity. So does passion. So find the hungry. Find the worshipers. Find the ones who talk faith, not drama. Get around fire, and fire's going to jump on you. Send out messages to people who you know are that have fire. Send out messages, send out text messages, receive things back and forth from people who you know who are uplifting, they're godly. Get into communion with that. Number 6, reignite those first steps that you took whenever you really started to burn for the Lord. Your first works. Jesus told Ephesus, he said, do the things you did at first. This is what he told them in the book of Revelation. Do the things you did at first. Do those things. Build your habit out of that wood. Build your habit. Build your altar out of those things, because that wood burned good. You know, you're trying new things. You're bringing new things in, trying to get fire started with things that sometimes we think are better. But in reality, go back to the things you did at first. Those are the things that really burned. Go back to the schedule that you had whenever you were reading your word, whenever you were consumed with worship, whenever you were consumed with worship music, whenever you were sending things to people. He says, go back and do the things you did then. That was good wood. That got a good fire going. Where did you stop obeying? Where did you stop serving? Where did you stop giving? Reignite obedience and you'll reignite intimacy. God always meets movement, not your plans to do it, but the things you do. He'll meet you in the movement, not just in the planning or the good intentions. He will meet you in the movement. So go to the things you did at first. Reignite the obedience in your life, and you'll reignite the intimacy in your life. Number 7, shut the door to the compromise. Lukewarm thrives where compromise lives. That's the environment that lukewarm thrives in, is whenever you have compromise. You can't entertain what God told you to crucify. Purity is not about perfection. It's about alignment. It's not about perfection. You're not going to make all the right decisions all the time. David was a man after God's own heart. I say this so many times whenever this particular topic is brought up. He was a man that was quick to get back into alignment. Even when he made mistakes, he never said, well, this mistake must be my new normal. I'm gonna be okay with this. Otherwise, I'm going to constantly beat myself up. God doesn't want me beating myself up, so I'm just going to learn to lower my standards so that I don't feel inadequate. And I'm going to keep my confidence while compromising. That's not a good look. It's not a good way to live your life. Get rid of the compromise, okay? Remove the compromise out of your life. Don't have compromise in your life. You need to set that aside and get into alignment. Ask God tonight, what door in my life is feeding the temperature that I'm fighting? My temperature keeps lowering. Where is the air coming in or leaving? I have draft in my life and I can't stay hot or cold. Something is eating this up. God, what door in my life is feeding the temperature that I'm fighting? Look through your life. There may be an open door that is hurting your fire. You've got to figure out where that is. Number 8, restore a fear of the Lord. I've been teaching on this. I had to put it in. Restore a fear of the Lord. Lukewarm breaks when your reverence returns. This is something around the Spark. I've been hammering this and speaking this, the importance of reverence, not for the sake of religiosity, and not for the sake of trying to look like these programs and any other thing. It's about God. All this stuff is just about the Lord. It's not about any other thing. It's about getting into alignment with the Lord. Lukewarm breaks when the reverence returns. He's making a call for the reverent to come back. When God is holy again, sin becomes ugly again. When God is holy in our eyes, whenever that is a holy moment set apart for the Lord, where we just hush and know that He's there, when we bring Him back into that place of priority, sin will become ugly to you again. When His presence is weighty again, then the apathy becomes impossible. Just the lack of caring. Lack of caring becomes impossible. Whenever you bring the weight of His presence back into your life, and you want His presence, and you acknowledge His presence. We talked about the fear of the Lord, this last Wednesday. And one of the things that we explain, how we explain the fear of the Lord, was it's putting Him at the center of your life, not just in your life, but at the center of your decisions, the center of how you move and breathe and have your being. Putting Him at the very center. When that happens, sin becomes ugly again. There's a difference between grace and toleration.